Hey warriors, welcome back to the channel. I want to ask you something that might permanently change the way you understand people, and yourself. Tell me. Do you think being a good person protects you? Do you feel kindness keeps you safe? Do you believe honesty naturally earns respect? If your answer is yes, then get ready, because you're about to face one of the biggest illusions society teaches us. Here's the harsh reality. Most people assume that goodness equals safety. But that idea is one of the most dangerous lies you could ever believe. Think of goodness like fire. It warms you at first. But if you're not careful, it will burn through everything you've built, your relationships, your dreams, even your opportunities. And yes, someone figured this out centuries ago. Niccolò Machiavelli. He watched kind leaders crumble. He saw generous rulers betrayed. He studied how good people were torn apart by the very people they tried to help. And he wrote every bit of it down. Today, I'm going to reveal that hidden truth, the price of blind goodness that no one warns you about. In the next few minutes, you'll learn why your kindness often makes you look weak, why people don't respect your softness, and how to turn your goodness from your biggest vulnerability into your greatest strategic advantage. But before we dive in, let me make something absolutely clear. I'm not telling you to become cruel. I'm not telling you to harm anyone. What I'm showing you is how to stop using goodness blindly, and start using it intelligently. Because in a world full of wolves, being a sheep is a death sentence. So before we continue, type this affirmation in the comments. I choose strategic goodness. From now on, everything changes. You won't waste your kindness. You'll use it with intention, precision, and power. In this video, we're going to break down why goodness doesn't always protect you, why it often destroys you, and how to reshape it into a source of strength. Let's start with the first truth. Number 1. Goodness as exposure. Think about the kindest, most helpful person you know. Now ask yourself honestly. Are they respected? Or are they simply the person everyone runs to when they need something? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Being good doesn't make you safer. It makes you visible. Predictable. Exposed. When you're consistently kind, people start treating you like a tool, not a person. They know you won't fight back. They know you won't say no. They know you'll absorb pressure without complaining. You stop being seen as strong. You start being seen as available. That's how you become the friend who always pays. The coworker who always covers shifts. The family member who sacrifices their own needs just to keep everyone happy. Let me tell you a story. There was a man I once worked with, hands down the best team manager I'd ever met. He supported everyone. He took responsibility when others slipped. He put his team before himself every single time. And guess what happened when a promotion opened up? They didn't choose him. They picked someone else, someone louder, firmer, less nice. Why? Because people don't see overly kind people as leaders. They see them as helpers, assistants, caretakers, not power holders. People don't respect constant goodness. They exploit it. Think about it. If someone is always available, their effort loses value. If someone never sets boundaries, people keep breaking them. If someone never shows any edge, others assume they don't have one. Your kindness becomes a signal. A silent announcement that says, "Push me. I won't push back." Machiavelli understood this perfectly. He wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. But most people try to survive as a sheep. Gentle, harmless, obedient. In a world full of predators. And that's exactly why they get hurt again and again." Type this in the comments. I protect my energy. Number 2. The generosity trap. Here's a truth that might flip your thinking upside down. The more you give, the less people value what you give. It sounds completely backwards, right? But stay with me, it's one of the biggest psychological traps good people fall into. At first, generosity feels amazing. You help someone once, and they're grateful. Twice, and they're impressed. 3 times, and they praise you like you're a blessing. But after a while, something shifts. Your kindness stops being special. It becomes routine. Expected. Normal. And the moment you stop, they forget every favor you ever did. And all they remember is the one time you said no. Suddenly you're selfish. Suddenly you're the bad guy. Not because you stopped caring, but because they got addicted to your giving. Let's break this down. How the trap forms. Help once they appreciate you. Help repeatedly they depend on you. Help constantly they feel entitled to you. Your generosity stops being a gift. It becomes a service. Think about parents who spoil their kids. At first, the gifts are magical. Then they just become normal. And when the parents finally say no, the kids act like they've been betrayed. This happens in friendships too. You always pay. You always drive. You always show up. At first they thank you. Then they expect you. Then, when you need them, they vanish behind excuses. This is the generosity trap. You become defined by your giving. And the moment you stop, you're punished for it. Why it happens, the psychology behind it. Humans adapt quickly. What was once generous becomes expected through hedonic adaptation. Kindness loses its impact when it becomes common. But when you say no just once, that stands out. That becomes the moment they judge you by. At work, stay late every day, nobody applauds. Leave on time once, suddenly you're not committed. In relationships, compromise constantly, that becomes the norm. Stand firm one time, now you're difficult. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He wrote, "Benefits ought to be conferred gradually, and in that way they will taste better." Why? Because scarcity creates value. Overflow destroys it. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I give strategically. Number 3. The mask of virtue. This next truth might feel uncomfortable, but once you understand it, everything in your life will start making more sense. People judge appearances far more than they judge reality. Most people don't care whether you're genuinely a good person. They care whether you look like one. They don't examine your intentions. They don't study your values. They judge the image you present. And in a world like that, maintaining respect and influence requires something counterintuitive. You must project goodness, even when you're making tough choices underneath the surface. Think of the most successful people you know. Do you honestly believe they got where they are by being effortlessly sweet to everyone? Of course not. They got there by choosing the right moments to be kind. And the right moments to be firm. They smile when it serves a purpose. They show compassion when it strengthens relationships. They make difficult decisions quietly, without broadcasting the struggle. They understand an important truth. The appearance of virtue often carries more weight than virtue itself. That doesn't mean being fake. It means being strategic. A surgeon isn't cruel because they cut someone open. They're doing what needs to be done, even if it seems harsh from the outside. Real leaders operate the same way. Sometimes doing what's right means being misunderstood temporarily. Sometimes protecting someone requires saying no. Sometimes guiding a team requires making decisions that don't look nice. Wearing the mask of virtue isn't about deceiving people. It's about knowing when to reveal your softness and when to show your steel. Most people get this reversed. They reveal their vulnerabilities to their enemies. And their strength to the people who actually care about them. Truly strategic people do the opposite. Machiavelli explained this perfectly. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. People form opinions based on what they can see. Not on who you are deep down. If they see weakness, they assume weakness. If they see strength, they assume strength. So you must take control of your image before the world assigns one to you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my image. Number 4. The economics of power. Every action you take comes at a cost. Every favor you grant. Every yes you say when your heart wants to say no. Every moment spent helping others instead of focusing on yourself. Most good people never stop to calculate this. They give endlessly, and then wonder why they feel exhausted, resentful, or taken advantage of. Here's the hard truth. Your time, energy, and resources are limited. If you spend them all on others, there's nothing left for yourself, and that's not selfish. That's just math. Unlimited giving drains your strength. And when your energy is gone, you can't help anyone, not even the people you care about most. Think about airplane safety instructions. They tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first, then help others. Why? Because if you pass out trying to save someone else first, now 2 people need help instead of 1. Life works the same way. If you drain yourself helping everyone, you become a liability instead of an asset. The most effective people understand this. They guard their resources, energy, and time carefully. Not to be cruel. Not to hoard. But to ensure they can keep helping, sustainably. I learned this lesson the hard way. For years, I said yes to everyone, every favor, every question, every small request. I thought I was being good. But it only left me angry, frustrated, and falling behind on my own work. Ironically, I became less capable of helping the people I truly wanted to help. Then it clicked. Every yes to others is a no to yourself. And if you abandon yourself, eventually you abandon everyone else too. The most generous people in history weren't those who said yes to everything. They were the ones who said no to most things so they could say yes in a big way, where it truly mattered. Machiavelli summed it up perfectly. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself. You cannot give effectively if you do not protect your own resources. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my resources. Number 5. Strategic use of virtue. I'm not saying you should become heartless. Honesty, mercy, and generosity are not the enemy. The problem is using them blindly. The key is this. Virtues should be wielded like tools, carefully, at the right moment, with the right intention. Think of a sword. A blade sitting on a shelf protects no one. A sword in the hands of a skilled warrior at the exact right moment can save a kingdom. Your goodness works the same way. Your acts of kindness, mercy, and generosity should be deliberate, designed to create meaningful outcomes. Here's how it looks in practice. Instead of helping everyone a little, help the right people a lot. Instead of being nice to everyone, be exceptionally kind to those who matter. Instead of saying yes to everything, say yes powerfully to what aligns with your goals. This approach does 3 things. Your help becomes more valuable because it's rare. You create bigger, more meaningful impact because your effort is focused. People respect you more because they see your choices as deliberate, not automatic. Look at the leaders and changemakers we admire. Martin Luther King Jr. confronted injustice decisively. Mother Teresa focused her energy on those who truly needed it. They weren't nice to everyone. They were strategically good. They used their virtue to create real change, not to be liked by all. Here's how you can apply this in your own life. Before saying yes to anything, ask yourself 3 questions. Does this align with my values and goals? Can I do this without draining myself? Will this person respect and value my help? If the answer to any of these is no, your answer isn't just no. It's a kind but firm no. And when you do say yes, commit fully. Give your best, create real value, and make a meaningful difference. Machiavelli put it this way. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. Sometimes keeping your word to one person requires breaking it with another. Sometimes protecting your dreams requires disappointing someone else. Strategic virtue isn't selfishness. It's effectiveness. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose effective kindness. Number 6. The illusion of gratitude. Here's a truth that might shake the way you see human nature. Gratitude is fleeting. No matter how much you give, how much you help, or how many sacrifices you make, people's appreciation has an expiration date. Do something for someone once, and they'll be thrilled. Do it twice, and they're thankful. Do it repeatedly, and it becomes expected, ordinary. Eventually, your help isn't seen as a gift anymore. It becomes a requirement. And when you can't provide it, suddenly, you're the one in the wrong. Think about it. You help your neighbor move, they're grateful. 6 months later, you help again, still thankful, but less impressed. A 3rd time, now it's taken for granted. A 4th time, no ask, no gratitude. And if you decline, you're the bad guy. This isn't evil, it's simply human psychology. We adapt to good treatment. We take exceptional kindness for granted. We remember the advantage we got, not the generosity behind it. This pattern plays out everywhere. At work, always staying late becomes expected, leave on time once, and suddenly you're uncommitted. In relationships, always compromising becomes the norm, refuse once, and you're difficult. The more consistently kind you are, the less your kindness is appreciated. The more available you make yourself, the less your presence feels special. The more you give without boundaries, the more people assume it costs you nothing. This is the illusion of gratitude. The truth is, doing more good doesn't make people more grateful, it makes them expect more. Understanding this doesn't mean stop being kind. It means be strategic. Set boundaries. Let people feel the impact of your absence sometimes. Allow them to realize the value of what you give. Machiavelli said it best. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone can see and few can feel. People see what you are doing now more clearly than they remember what you did before. Your past kindness fades in their eyes. Your present actions define how they perceive you. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I create lasting impact. Number 7. Results over intentions. Here's a hard truth most people resist. The world doesn't care about your intentions. It judges outcomes. You could have the purest heart, the best motives, the most genuine kindness. But if your actions don't produce results, it doesn't matter. History doesn't remember those who only meant well. It remembers those who made things happen. Who created change. Who left a mark. Ask yourself this: would you rather be remembered as someone who was really nice but accomplished little? Or as someone who seemed tough but actually made the world better? Most people pick the first option because it feels safe. But here's the reality: being remembered as merely nice often means being forgotten entirely. Sometimes true goodness requires doing things that don't look good in the moment. Surface-level kindness brings temporary comfort. Tough, strategic decisions bring lasting impact. A parent disciplines their child, they're teaching, not punishing. A teacher gives challenging grades, preparing students, not being cruel. A boss sets high expectations, strengthening their team, not being mean. Real goodness is about results, not appearances. It's about creating positive change, not just making people feel good. Here's where most well-intentioned people fail. They prioritize being liked over being effective. They choose comfort over growth. They choose temporary peace over lasting transformation. But if your kindness doesn't produce meaningful outcomes, you're not being truly good. You're just being nice. Remember. Nice people avoid conflict, good people resolve it. Nice people tell people what they want to hear, good people tell them what they need to hear. Nice people maintain the status quo, good people create change. Machiavelli captured this perfectly. The end justifies the means. He wasn't endorsing evil. He was pointing out that good intentions alone are worthless if they fail to deliver good results. People live in a world of outcomes, not intentions. So here's your takeaway. Real goodness demands courage. It demands you focus on results over appearances. It demands that you stop asking, "Will they like me?" and start asking, "Will this actually make a difference?" At the end of the day, people won't remember your intentions. They'll remember what you built, what you changed, and the impact you left behind. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I focus on outcomes. Number 8. Legacy and survival. Let's talk about the ultimate question. How will you be remembered? What mark will you leave on the world? Here's the reality few people acknowledge. History doesn't honor people who are merely nice or good. It honors those who survive, endure, and use their power wisely to create lasting change. Think about it. Can you name 5 historical figures who were remembered just for being agreeable? Probably not. Now, can you name 5 people who made a difference, even if they weren't easy to get along with? Likely, yes. Steve Jobs wasn't famous for being nice. He was demanding, intense, and often difficult. Yet he created products that reshaped billions of lives. This isn't about being cruel. It's about understanding that to leave a meaningful legacy, you have to survive long enough to make one. You can't help anyone if you get crushed by those who take advantage of you. You can't give generously if you've given everything away too early. You can't speak truth if you're silenced by stronger forces. The strategy is simple. Protect yourself first so you can protect others. Build yourself up so you can lift others. Grow strong so you can help the weak. This isn't selfishness, it's strategy. It's not cruelty, it's careful stewardship. It's not abandoning goodness, it's preserving it to create real impact. Look at the people who changed the world. They weren't passive. They weren't people pleasers. They weren't afraid to set boundaries, make tough calls, or say no. They understood an essential truth. Being good doesn't mean being weak. Being strategic, strong, and wise allows you to choose goodness when it matters most. Machiavelli said it best. It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. What he meant, respect is more powerful than affection. Impact matters more than popularity. Results outweigh feelings. You don't have to sacrifice goodness for strength. But if you have to choose strength first. Because strength gives you the power to be good on your own terms. Weakness ensures you'll be a victim, no matter how noble your intentions. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect myself to protect others. Conclusion: mastering strategic goodness. We've covered a lot today, so let's summarize the most important lesson. Goodness without strategy is the most dangerous trap you can fall into. It makes you vulnerable to exploitation. It drains your energy, time, and resources. It creates expectations you can't sustain. And ultimately, it stops you from making the impact you truly want to achieve. But here's the upside. Goodness with strategy becomes a weapon. It becomes a tool to survive, influence, and create real change. It becomes the foundation for a life and legacy that actually matters. Now, you know the hidden cost of blind goodness. You understand why generosity can backfire, why gratitude fades, and why good intentions alone aren't enough. Even more importantly, you've learned how to flip the script. Transform your goodness from a weakness into strength. Be kind with intention, not habit. Help strategically. Focus on outcomes, not appearances. Before this video ends, ask yourself a crucial question. Will you continue giving blindly, letting your kindness be drained and exploited? Or will you start using your goodness strategically, effectively, and powerfully? The choice is yours. But now, with this knowledge, you can choose wisely. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button. Subscribe for more insights that challenge your perspective. Share this with someone who needs this message. Your goodness isn't a weakness. Used strategically, it becomes your greatest strength. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I master strategic goodness. Remember, in a world full of wolves, don't be a sheep. Be the shepherd. Protect the flock not through weakness, but through wisdom, strategy, and strength. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.